What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 178th edition of the Sports Reality. My name is Jeremy John, aka the fourth greatest Grenadian of all time. Perfect. Aka the Little Wayne of podcasts, because I will get on any podcast and hit it with the J train. Perfect. Let's welcome my co-host, cousin Big Thad, aka the gatekeeper of the DMV. Perfect. Aka the unofficial mayor of Prince George's County. How's everything going with you, my man?
Yeah, got the flex balls. Yes. Give it to me again. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm good, son. I'm good, man. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I had to pull the do-rag out this time around. You know what I'm saying? Had to pull the do-rag out. But I'm good, man. I'm good. It's only Monday. This weekend was pretty good. Had a wedding from with a good friend of mine. She got married.
Hey, turn up.
Yeah, so it was good times, man. Good times. Food was a little questionable.
Well, it was catered, correct?
Right. Uptown, catering by Uptown or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So they're always kind of questionable to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like your friend cooked it, so you could talk.
No. It's not like our family wedding where we just bring food to the joint. You know what I'm saying? Or we get some. Go ahead.
No, I was about to
say. Or we get like a friend of the family to like cater the joint. You know what I'm saying? So the food's already 10 times better. So, So sometimes these catering joints, like especially like catering by Uptown, they do so many weddings. Mm-hmm. So it's like McDonald's or something like that where it's just mass. They just do mass stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's no love behind it. You know what I'm saying? They don't do a special. They don't do a special for every occasion. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
So the chicken sometimes tastes like the McRib.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? PG, shout out to my PG County Public School folks.
Stop playing with my name.
With the McRib. I mean, they getting real. They trying to get real fancy now. You know what I'm saying? Got it on paper.
On my name.
Getting on paper plates and stuff like that now. You know what I'm saying? Try to make it look classy.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping some of my PG County Public School friends see this right now on Facebook. Hopefully,
he's coming for them. Always coming.
I got to. You know what I'm saying?
Always.
I mean,
unprovoked.
Always. It's Monday. I got to choose violence today. You know what I'm saying? Got to wake up, choose violence. Plain and simple. Man. It's the greatest thing ever. But how you doing, man?
Man, doing all right, man. This over the weekend, had the home opener for the Washington Adventist University women's basketball team.
Already?
Yep. Remember, college basketball starts officially tomorrow.
It's November.
Like NCAA Division I officially.
Right.
But Division II and NAIA started last week, or some schools even started a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So yeah, the women's team had their first home game, second game of the season. The men's team, I believe, have their first game of the year this week.
Okay.
They played
the women pulled it out?
No, they won the first game against Penn State. I can't remember which Penn State.
Right.
But then they lost to Shawnee State, who is actually really good. The women's team is really good. Their men's team, I believe, is number 1 in the country. And
the WAU about to play them? Men's about to play
No, they're
them?
not going to play the men this year unless they meet in the tournament. They didn't get them on the schedule this year.
I was about to say, I might have to show up to that one just to
see. The thing about it is, the last few years, because they've been beating like some competition, now schools are kind of like, I ain't really trying to play you, especially like during the regular season.
Oh, wow.
We can try and meet up with you during conference play or in the tournament. After they beat Howard and Delaware State. Locally, some of the schools are just kind of like, we don't want to play.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I mean, Howard now is starting getting some local talent that didn't go off to like other schools or whatever. So, like Howard got like 2 or 3 DeMatha guys right now on the team. So, I mean, Howard is getting better, but when you think about Howard on the schedule, though, I mean, you got a chance.
Yeah, I mean, and for years, every time WAU played them, the game was close. The game always ended in like one possession. And then the last time they played in 2019, obviously they didn't play last year due to COVID. WAU actually beat them. Since then, they're like, yeah, we not about to schedule y'all again.
All right.
Same thing with Delaware State. Couldn't get Delaware State back onto the schedule. I believe they beat them within a matter of like weeks. Both of them. So,
wow.
So yeah. But the good thing is
they got to try to put Maryland on the schedule or something. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's the next thing. Try and just play Maryland. And try and get a W there. They do play two Division II schools, NCAA Division II schools, in December in Colorado, and I heard that's kind of like the highlight of some two new schools that they haven't played before. So the men's team is looking forward to that. But yeah, man, it is basketball season, so that's why I could not. That is why I could not come to the axe throwing this weekend. That's
that they
right.
Had
for the fam.
Yeah, we had a cousin. One of our cousins is leaving the DMV for Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he's still going to turn up in Houston, though. But you know what I'm saying. But yeah, Frankie. Yeah, but that means we're going to have to make a visit out to Houston. You know
Got a comment already from Facebook. What about Thug Life Mac Jones? We're going to get into that. We will get into that. That is a great question.
My man came out hot.
And that is a great segue into what we are going to talk about today. We're going to get into the NFL. We're going to get into the NBA.
Yeah.
We are also going to get into the sports free zone where we'll talk about Alec Baldwin. We'll talk about the catastrophe at Astro World in Houston. We'll also talk about.
Do we really got to talk about that, though?
Yeah, man, because it's a hot topic right now.
I don't really like Travis.
And we'll get into Kanye West, what he had to say in Drink Champ. And then we'll wrap up the show with an interview of a very good friend that I met on Clubhouse, and I was on her podcast a couple months ago, the Good Ricky's podcast. My girl Janelle out of Canada, so we will interview her, and
this is like the second or third person from Canada, right? Didn't you do a podcast with two folks from Canada?
Yeah, that's who I went. I did.
Oh,
that.
That's
so Janelle. She'll be on. With us,
okay.
For that one.
That's dope. That's dope.
So yeah, just want to remind you all to subscribe to the podcast where podcasts are available, and that includes Apple Podcasts, Anchor, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn. And if you're watching right now or anytime on the live stream on demand, you can watch on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch.
Yeah.
We are available there. Just make sure you pass the word to those that you know that like sports and pop culture. Let's get into the NFL and just quickly recap the scores for Week 9 in the NFL, starting with last Thursday. I kind of thought that the Jets had a chance, honestly. Especially with Mike White, how he played against the Bengals and how he started that game. I say, this is looking good.
Yeah, he was my starting quarterback in fantasy.
And then it went downhill. And the score makes it seem like it wasn't that bad, 45-30, but it was pretty bad before the Jets were able to put up points in that game.
I don't know who their backup was, but he was killing it.
It was Josh Johnson. How do you not know who that is?
Josh Johnson, why is that? Is that the dude from the DC XFL joint? Or is that
no?
That's not him.
Or did he? Okay. I don't know. But he played with your Washington football team for the last few games in 2018, I think, or 17. Remember after all those quarterbacks? Yeah, 18.
That was too long ago.
Yeah, the year Alex Smith got injured, and then Sanchez got injured, and then
we had like 10 quarterbacks between.
Yeah, so then he had to get Josh Smith to wrap up, Josh Johnson to wrap up the season for you.
Got you.
He finished the game.
Okay,
Josh Johnson might be one of the few like career black backups where it's just like, and he's been on like 10 teams in the league.
Yeah, it was like him, the dude from in Pittsburgh.
Charlie Batch.
It looked
Gino
like
might be that guy now.
Gino, I think Gino's that guy.
Rodney
Gino might be
Pete.
that guy. Oh, yeah.
Rodney Pete was that career backup.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man. Other scores in the NFL. Ravens in overtime defeated the Vikings 34-31. The Jaguars stunned the Bills 9-6.
That's crazy.
The Falcons are now 4-4. They defeated the Saints 27-25 with a game-winning field goal by Wnba. The New England Patriots win 24-6 over the Panthers. We'll talk a little bit about that game. Browns smacked the Bengals 41-16. Browns are 5-4. Bengals are 5-4. The toilet bowl battle. The Dolphins won 17-9 over the Texans. Texans are still 1-8, and they did not trade Deshaun Watson.
Nope.
The Giants defeated the Raiders 23-16. More news coming out from the Raiders camp. The Chargers won with a game-winning field goal. Guess who kicked the game-winning field goal, Fed?
No clue.
Dustin Hopkins, formerly of the Washington football team. Game-winning field goal. It was only 29 yards, so you should have hit it. But
still, I mean,
game-winning field goal.
I knew it.
For
I
the
knew
Chargers.
he'd go somewhere. I knew he'd go somewhere and be all right.
Chiefs. First of all, I didn't even know Washington cut him. I only realized during the Broncos game. I'm like, oh, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Chiefs 13-7 over the Packers. We'll get into that game. The Cardinals, best team in the league right now, 8-1 record, 31-17 over the 49ers.
With the journeyman.
Yes, with a journeyman. And Sunday night, Titans go into LA and stun the Rams 28-16. Rams get their second loss of the season. Let's start with the big news in the NFL. Henry Ruggs, literally hours after we live streamed last week, got into a car accident, was driving under the influence in his Corvette in Vegas. And he was going 156 miles per hour at his max speed while he was traveling. When he made impact with a car, he was going 127, and this was not done on an interstate or a freeway.
No.
This was done on a main road within a residential area outside of Las Vegas. He unfortunately hit a Toyota RAV4. The RAV4 caught on fire. The woman in the RAV4 unfortunately passed away. Henry Ruggs did not take a breathalyzer, so they did treat him, but they also did arrest him. They charged him with DUI that resulted in the death of an individual. Yep. He is now facing 2 to 20 years in prison if convicted. Big Thad, when you heard about the news, what was the first thing you thought about?
You an idiot. Plain and simple. You an idiot. You just got in the league. You on your rookie contract, and you acting a fool. You know what I'm saying? And all I saw was that, emergency personnel said he was visibly impaired. And I say, yep, you not playing no more, bro. You will be gone from the NFL for at least a couple years. And that's if. And that was before I even knew somebody had passed away. I was like, yeah, he's going to be out for a couple years. And, yeah, we'll never hear from him again. But, my condolences to the one who was lost and the dog. Can't forget about the dog.
There was a dog.
We got PETA folks out here. But, yeah, man, it's crazy. Some of these young dudes coming in the NFL, man, are just stupid sometimes. Like, they get all this freedom now, and they act a fool, man. But you should tell everybody what you told us, what these players are offered in regards to situations like this.
Yes. So the NFL, and specifically the NFL Players Association, provides free car service for all NFL players and all players who are part of the union. For example, if you haven't retired and you're obviously still trying to be in the league, you can still pay your dues to be part of the union, and you will still get plenty of benefits. So one of the benefits is getting a free car service at any time of the day or night, no questions asked. This has been in existence for a long time. The first time I heard about it was back in 2009 or 10 when I went out one night and saw some Washington football players at the club and, got into conversation with them, and I overheard one of them saying, "Oh yeah, that's that we get free car service." And then I actually looked it up and saw that, hey, that is true.
Right.
So not only did he drive drunk, or at least under the influence, like you didn't have to.
Right.
And then you were going maximum speed of 156 miles per hour on a road that is, first of all, on an American highway, period. It don't matter where.
Yeah, true.
When you think about it.
Yeah.
This isn't the Autobahn. And you end up killing someone. The least of his worries is being in the NFL. He might be there for a while in prison if convicted. I hope for his sake he actually pleads guilty and takes the punishment.
Right.
Get a lesser charge, get a lesser penalty, punishment, and then try and, rehabilitate and try and be a, upstanding, and let me not say upstanding, because he probably is an upstanding person.
Just a big lapse in judgment.
He made a huge lapse of judgment. And it's very unfortunate. I'm not excusing it, but
Not at all.
it happened, and he has to face the punishment. So yes, and if he is convicted, I will not feel any type of way that he's going to be missing years in the NFL. And if if any NFL team decides, hey man, we're not ever going to sign him in the future, I will not feel any type of way about that either.
Nah, not at all.
I won't feel any type of way about it, because at the end of the day, NFL teams got to look at their, they have to look at their brand also. Do you want to, and we've had this discussion about certain players and things like that. The big one is being Colin Kaepernick. Do you want someone like him on your roster in the distraction? Do you want someone on your team that recklessly killed someone?
Right.
Like, we're not talking about politics now. We talking about someone who recklessly killed someone.
Right.
So that I wouldn't feel any type of way if a team said, hey, we just really don't want to take a chance on him. So, it's unfortunate all around. Unfortunate for the deceased and her family. It's unfortunate for Henry Ruggs and his family. It's unfortunate for the Oakland Raiders, and they've been going through a lot.
Yeah.
And talking about that, I feel like that then stemmed into something else. Who is the cornerback that got released today? Arnett is his last name. That's all I know.
Yeah.
But he was drafted last year with Henry Ruggs. Came out of Ohio State. Over the weekend, a video surfaced of him threatening someone, saying that he was going to kill that individual on through Instagram direct message. And in the direct message, he was sending videos of him with firearms saying what he was going to do. And he dropped his location and said, meet up. And now the Raiders released him. Then what?
Damon Arnett.
Damon, yes. And then when that came out, literally within the hour, another story came out about how Damon Arnett had a hit and run accident outside of the Raiders facility last year. And that woman is suing him now. All of that broke within an hour over the weekend. And the story around that is he made like an illegal U-turn, struck her car, but because he was not trying to run late for practice. He drove into the practice facility, and then his friend came back out and tried to say it was him that was driving, but there were enough people to see that it actually wasn't him. It was someone else.
Jeez.
Police went to the practice facility. They found Arnett. They actually gave him a citation. So this is from last year, but now he's being sued, and now he's released from the Oakland Raiders. So they're going through a lot. They obviously went through the whole John Gruden situation a couple weeks ago. Yeah, man, it's been a rough year for the Raiders. A very rough year for the Raiders. Other news in the NFL, we have Aaron Rodgers. We mentioned that the Packers lost a close game against the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday. And their starting quarterback was Jordan Love. Well, their starting quarterback was Jordan Love because Aaron Rodgers tested positive for COVID-19. COVID-19 is still going around. We all know that. Well, the story became a big thing because in August, Aaron Rodgers said he was immunized.
Immunized.
And let's be real, when reporters were asking all these players, well, hey, are you vaccinated? Are you cool with the new rules in the NFL? The question was asked, are you vaccinated? Aaron Rodgers said, quote, yes, I'm immunized. And everyone kind of left it at that. And to be honest,
just left it at that.
as someone who did not see the interview or the press conference live,
right,
I could not then come up with a follow-up. But when I finally saw the clip, I'm like, how did no one ever ask, what do you mean by immunized?
They ain't messing with, because they weren't trying to mess with Aaron at that time. Perfect.
Well, he tested positive. COVID-19 has been going around rampant in the Packers organization. And then the NFL came out and said, yes, he tested positive and he is actually unvaccinated. So that started a whole nother firestorm. I'm like, well, hold on. He said he was vaccinated. More importantly, he lied. He had no reason to lie. He could have just pulled the, hey, I have my personal reasons and I'm not going to say yay or nay.
Right.
Like Lamar Jackson.
Right.
And yes, Lamar Jackson got a little heat for a week or two, and then it died down. And then after a while, no one was asking about his vaccination status. That could have happened with Aaron Rodgers. But anyways, more importantly, a lot of people then started saying, well, hold on. If Aaron Rodgers is unvaccinated, why is he not following the unvaccinated protocols? Well, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are claiming, well, yes, I am. I'm getting tested daily. I'm not leaving the state, especially even on bye weeks, because they have to get tested literally every day. He said, oh, well, when I'm in the practice facility, I have my mask. I'm working out by myself in the weight room. I'm also during, film study. I have my mask on and everything. But many people then stated, well, hold on. When you're on the field, though, you don't have your mask on.
Right.
And when you're in the press conferences, you don't have your mask on.
Right.
So that had a lot of people talking about, the inconsistencies with the rules. Is Aaron Rodgers above the law? Are the Packers did they just allow him to do this? The NFL is investigating to see if Aaron Rodgers broke any protocol while inside Packers practice facility. All of that. Well, on Friday, Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show, which he's on there every Tuesday. But because he tested positive, I believe, Wednesday or Thursday, he did a special appearance on Friday to give his side of the story. And he said, yesterday I wasn't feeling well, but I feel well today. And he said, yeah, I didn't want to. I didn't want to get vaccinated because I'm allergic to 2 of the ingredients in the vaccine. Look, I'm not here to say if he's lying or not about that. Whatever. There are other guys who are not vaccinated in the NFL, but most of the NFL, I believe it's close to 95% are vaccinated right now. He then went on this whole diatribe about his cancel culture and, people who are similar to what Kyrie Irving was saying. He doesn't like how people are getting the scarlet letter for being unvaccinated, and why is it everyone's I guess business to know, yada yada yada. The issue still for me is you were within the press conferences without a mask. You were around other players when not playing without a mask.
Right.
And yes, he may get and then he spoke about the draconian rules, how he has to get tested every day, but the vaccinated players, it's only, I think, every couple weeks unless there is exposure, yada, yada, yada. I'm just like, bro, there's still rules. You got to follow it.
Right.
Then he said, oh, by the way, you know, we really need to stop pushing the vaccine. We need to be pushing healthier living. And said, yeah, we need to be, you know, exercising and eating right and getting sleep and yada, yada, yada. Fed.
What's up?
Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback in the NFL, right?
Right.
They usually eat right, correct?
Yeah.
They usually exercise every day, correct?
Yeah.
They usually get sleep, right?
Yeah, they've been doing that since college.
They've been they're usually the guys who are in literally tip-top shape compared to the rest of America, right?
Right, correct.
So he did all of this and still got COVID, right?
Yep.
So isn't that a sign that just doing that is not enough?
Makes sense to me.
And yes, I understand there's an outbreak in the Packers organization. And yes, some guys who were vaccinated did get COVID. But those guys are back.
Right.
Also, I think it was like 5 or 6 guys. There's literally 100 people in that organization when it comes to like game day or practice activities.
Right. And
the other guys didn't get it.
Yeah.
But you're the unvaccinated one. You got it. So then, yeah, he went on this whole thing. He even said how after getting COVID, he consulted with the great expert Joe Rogan.
How, Sway?
And said Joe Rogan recommended that he take ivermectin, which is the dewormer for livestock.
Okay.
Yep. And he's been taking that, and he's been feeling really good. And he said, the great thing about me getting COVID now is I don't have to test for COVID every day because I now have the antibodies.
Did you get COVID before too?
Not from what I understand. And I forgot the best part. The reason why he said he was immunized is because he said him and his doctor did a homeopathic procedure to increase his antibodies.
Oh.
And that's why he filed for a petition from the NFL to the NFL and the NFLPA for him to be considered vaccinated. And both the NFL and the NFLPA said, nah, this don't qualify. You're unvaccinated. I forgot that part.
Yeah.
So now you have a lot of people who have a lot of thoughts about Aaron Rodgers. What did you think, Fab, before I get to a quote from someone that had a great quote about Aaron Rodgers?
Well, at first I was just like, oh, the man said he was immunized. I don't think he's talking about COVID vaccines. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even hear the press conference when it was asked or anything, but all I had saw was that he had said back in August that he was immunized. And I was like, yep, he's definitely didn't get vaccinated. Because nobody says immunized anytime when it comes to COVID stuff. Now, if it's like flu shots or stuff like that, yeah. Most of the time you take, yeah, I'm immunized. It's on my immunization records. But he ain't never said, he said that, and I was like, but ain't nobody during this time has ever said, no, I'm immunized. No,
I do blame.
You've been vaccinated. That's all anybody says now.
I do blame the media, especially those who were there and those who covered the press conference, because they then said Aaron Rodgers is vaccinated.
Right. Like,
that's what they said. So
right.
So everyone ran with that. All right. Jonathan Jones from CBS Sports Network had this to say about Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
I believe that Aaron Rodgers has full autonomy over his body, and I'm not going to argue or discuss the merits of what he said. You can Google Aaron Rodgers fact check and see what he said there. But when you say I'm a critical thinker or I'm a free thinker, is the implication that those of us who did get vaccinated are not critical thinkers, or that we're not free thinkers, that you're on a higher plane of intelligence than I can even conceive? And I took issue with that, but then I also took issue with him saying, hey, I follow the protocols everywhere. They're draconian, but I follow them everywhere, in the weight room and in the locker room. The one place he didn't do it was in the public eye. And that's where he quotes MLK and says that he doesn't need to follow unjust laws, but he followed all those unjust laws everywhere else, that cameras weren't beaming that he was unvaccinated to everyone out there. What wound up happening was Aaron Rodgers got cute with his wording, he got caught, and he's embarrassed, and he wants it to be everybody else's fault except his.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, quarterbacks supposed to be some smart guys. So, yeah, I mean, but that was pretty good. I haven't heard a media person talk like that in a while.
Man. So, yeah, the part that had me laughing, though, was just the whole, the whole, like, he tried to bring up MLK. And I'm like, yo, this is the first time you probably ever in your life.
Maybe.
First time ever in your life that you brought up MLK.
Like, just randomly brought it up. Okay. All
right. Let's get to some other news in the NFL quickly. Odell Beckham Jr. is now, or he will be, or actually he's on waivers now, and he will clear waivers tomorrow.
I heard he said non-contenders better not try to pick him up.
Yes, he did say that. He said, "Look, man, don't try and sign me if you're not a contender." He said, "Because I will act up. I'll do what you accused me of." Now, that came up, and a lot of people saw the Browns game yesterday and saw that Baker Mayfield played decent and that the Browns won in convincing fashion against the Bengals. And the automatic thing was, you see, right, it must be Odell Beckham Jr. Like, he's the reason. And I'm just like, let's critically think about this, guys. When have we ever gave a quarterback a pass for not getting in good rhythm with their star receiver?
Is he the star, or is it Landry?
He is the star. He's better than Landry. Even look.
Is he really?
Even coming off injury, if you look at his attributes, he's still better than Landry. He has better hands than Landry. Runs better routes than Landry.
Well, obviously not, because he ain't getting the ball.
Well, let's talk about what happened before he got released, though.
What happened?
Odell Beckham Jr.'s father.
He went off.
Odell Beckham Jr.'s father found a video from someone else on YouTube. Funny thing is, the guy made the video weeks ago. 11-minute video where he was showing how on a lot of these passes that Odell Beckham is getting the ball thrown to him, they're either inaccurate, they're either late, or Odell Beckham is so wide open and Baker's not hitting him. Now, I did look at all 11, and I'll say the bulk of them, if you were a better quarterback, you could get the ball to Odell Beckham Jr. Some of them, though, I would say, okay, Baker was being pressured. He couldn't see it, yada, yada, yada. But there was a good amount where I'm like, yeah, Odell, Baker, you got to hit Odell. Mm-hmm. You got to know what that read is. You got to know where he is.
Right.
And I made this point on Twitter yesterday. Baker might be the only quarterback that we just give a pass because he can't somehow manage the amount of talent he has. Like, we're never going to see people criticize. We're never going to see people give Dak Prescott a pass because let's say he was struggling with Amari Cooper. This actually happened. He was struggling with Amari Cooper for a little bit. And people were just kind of like, yo, what's going on? You got Amari Cooper now. You added to the team. Cowboys have CeeDee Lamb. They have Cedric Wilson. They have Michael Gallup, Dalton Schultz, Blake Jarwin. You still have Zeke and Pollard coming out the backfield.
Right.
If you struggle with those guys, it's on you. Patrick Mahomes has a lot of targets. When he struggles, we're not going to sit here and say, well, you know, him and Kelsey can't seem to click. It got to be Kelsey's fault.
Right.
When Kirk Cousins was struggling with Stephon Diggs, we didn't say it was Diggs' fault. And Diggs
we all know what the problem was there.
but you see my
there's
point?
There's no way you could get around that.
You see my point though? Like,
no, I got
Diggs,
you.
We didn't sit here and Diggs and Odell Beckham Jr. have very similar personalities. Very similar. They want the ball. Yeah. They're eccentric. They're exciting. They've had moments where they've blown up on their quarterbacks. I'm not going to sit here and act like they're both saints.
A little bit more eccentric than Diggs.
That's fair.
Just a little bit more.
Josh Allen. He's had a couple games where he struggled to get to his receivers. Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders.
Right.
Let's go back in history. What if the 2007 Patriots, let's just say Tom Brady was struggling with Randy Moss? You're going to be like, yo, Tom, that's Randy Moss.
Right.
He was doing well with Randall Cunningham and Dante Stallworth and all those bums in Oakland. How you can't seem to get it to work with him here.
Right.
And we saw Odell Beckham Jr. and you know how I feel about Eli Manning.
Yeah.
But we saw him do well with Eli Manning. I think this is a Baker thing. And if Baker can't somehow get on the same page.
You know what? Maybe it's Baker not seeing Odell as the number one receiver.
Could be. It could be that.
That could be it. It might get. That's my best thought right there.
And
like,
yes,
OBJ
every play
is not his number one.
And
Landry is, or whoever else is the number one, but you would think with Landry being injured, Odell will be the number one.
Yeah, and that didn't happen.
But it still didn't happen. So. Okay.
That didn't happen for that period either.
That thought's gone. Okay. That thought's gone.
Now, that being said.
I tried Baker. I tried.
That being said, I personally think, real quick, that Baker there's just certain throws he can't make. I don't think he's a good timing quarterback. He has to see guys open to throw the ball. And a receiver like Odell, he's open.
Right.
Like, you might not think it, but he's open. He's going to get it. Now the pressure, though, is still on Odell now. He has to get on the team, and he has to be decent. If he goes to a contender, I personally don't think he's going to be good for the first few games. He's going to have that acclimation period. But I think the key is, though, how well he plays late in the season and into the postseason. Right. So we'll have to wait and see. And I'll also say this, though. If Odell struggles where he goes next, oh, man, even though I feel the way I feel, I'm going to understand why the opposition feels the way they feel.
Why I call them trash?
Yeah, I'm gonna understand why the opposition feels how they feel, even though I don't believe it. Other NFL news: we had the Patriots face the Panthers in Charlotte, and we had an incident during the game. It was a blowout. Christian McCaffrey came back, but we did have an incident that happened during the game between, quarterback Mac Jones. And here I have the clip here for you all. let's take a look at what was said and done.
I definitely thought it was a dirty play. I actually saw and witnessed the play, the whole
Can
what
you hear
was
that
happening
then?
as I was
Yeah, I got it.
running, seeing him over there.
I feel like it's coming through my
First, it
computer.
looked like he was trying to trip or kick Burns, and then
Actually,
next thing you
it
notice,
is coming
I saw
through my
him tugging
computer,
on
so
Burns'
what I'm
ankle.
going to
I
do
thought it was completely
is
dirty.
restart it for you all. No problem. I'm going to switch the audio source real quick, so
fine.
you all
It sounded all right though.
sounded all right, but I'm going to get it
But
clearer.
We want to get it
all.
clearer for you all.
Yep. Here we go.
I definitely thought it was a dirty play. I actually saw
Now
and
it's
witnessed
mono,
the
but
play,
whatever.
the whole what was happening.
I was about to say, it
as I
sounded about to say.
running, seeing him over there. First, it looked like he was trying to trip or kick Burns, and then next thing you notice, I saw him tugging on Burns' ankle. I thought it was completely dirty. Hopefully, it's something that the league addresses. I think it was surprising to not see that a penalty was called. You know, it seems like they always, protecting the offensive players. Where's the protection for the defensive players as well? I don't know. I felt like that was a call that shouldn't be missed. I'm gonna speak out on it, whatever the consequences, however the referees feel, that's how they feel. But it looked completely intentional from where I was standing, and I was pretty close. And I don't think that was a call that should have been missed. I think everybody needs to be respectful, right? Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. I know I don't. So for something like that to happen, and once again for no penalty, nothing to be thrown, man, I just think it's egregious, man. I think it's egregious. I think it's unfair. And like I said, I really do hope that the league addresses it.
Now, I have my thoughts on this. And before I get to that, Banks did go to the medical tent, and he actually returned to the game. And he continued playing and had a bomb game. I think he was trying to get Mac Jones, but Mac Jones ended up handing the ball off, and Banks cracked that running back, and that running back left the game with an injury. Left the game with an injury. He hit him so hard. I wish I had that clip.
Was it Michelle?
No.
Michelle?
Oh, Michelle ain't there no more.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It wasn't James White, was it?
It wasn't James. No, James.
Oh,
it wasn't
okay,
James White. I'm gonna try and find it, but it was probably
That's wild.
It's probably Harrison or one of them.
Yeah,
He
I don't
cracked
know.
him.
Yeah, I don't know what Mac was doing there. Like the ball
think
was
he
nowhere near you. Like I know you probably were trying to stop him from getting the ball. Maybe you thought at the time that the ball was very close to you. But when he's literally like trying to get away from your grasp and you keep holding, like what's the purpose? What's the purpose there? You know what I'm saying? But I just don't understand why he did that.
Also, like when you got stripped of the ball, you can clearly see that Mac Jones saw where it was, and Banks was not there. So you knew he didn't have the ball. He was just trying to go for the ball. And okay, you grabbed him to try and stop him, which should be a penalty. Because I swear they made rules now where if you're on the ground, you cannot actually try and,
I think so. Yeah,
get someone. Like that was one of the changes.
it's almost like sticking your leg out to trip somebody running by.
Mm-hmm. That was also one of the changes I believe that stemmed from the Tom Brady injury when Pollard was on the ground and then he got up to try and tackle. And I know the circumstances are a little different, but the concept is still the same.
Right.
Yeah, I believe he did it on purpose, and the league should definitely look at it. Ultimately, I think if anything, they'll probably fine him. I don't think they'll suspend him for a game. But real quick, I do have the clip of what Banks did later in the game when he came back. And I have it here. Let me bring it up. Oh, I keep on there. I gotta hit add stream. Boom. Here we go.
Out of a wide receiver core and sit here at 24 points. Whoa, talk about breaking up a play.
Whoever that was did not get up. Look at that.
Oh, he definitely tried to get Matt.
He did.
Yeah, he definitely tried to get him.
Look at the score. They're losing. He's like, nah, I'm still playing.
Oh, he was definitely going for Matt. Definitely going for him. Just so happened the running back came across right at that right time. Jeez.
So he was gonna get back.
Oh,
he was
gonna take him out the game. He was definitely taking him out the game.
Oh man, so that happened. Let's now get to the NBA. Man, the NBA, man, it's a
What?
oh, there's just so much going on. Let's get to the Philadelphia Suns owner. Phoenix Suns owner, Robert Sarver, who's being investigated for racist and misogynistic remarks and tweets. They did an entire story on him, and he was being accused of using racist words. One of them in a situation where Draymond Green, your boy Draymond Green,
he probably deserved that one.
So Draymond Green, was on the court yelling and spewing the N-word. And Robert Sarver is like, why is it he can do that? How come I can't do that? He pulled one of those. He even, regularly referred to black people as the N-word. One of the most outlandish quotes he said was, Robert Sarver was trying to be progressive. Hear me out here. He was trying to be progressive and failed miserably. Robert Sarver has hired a lot of black head coaches. And there was, in the article, they spoke about how, I believe there was Dan Marley was passed over for Lindsey Hunter.
Yeah.
And he spoke about it to someone and said, end quote, these N-words need an N-word as their head coach because they need someone they could relate to. Do you see? He was trying to be progressive.
Yeah. I was about to say, but he's kind of not wrong there, but he's wrong. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, he failed miserably on that one.
He was trying to be progressive. He said these N-words need an N-word for structure, for stability. They can relate. They'll be more comfortable.
Yeah, just your wording was off, bro.
He even said during when LaMarcus Aldridge was in free agency, back when he was free agent after Portland, one of the concerns for LaMarcus Aldridge was, hey, I want to be closer to my family in Texas, and that's why the Spurs ended up being a viable option, and LaMarcus Aldridge ultimately signed with the Spurs.
Right.
But during that time, Sarver said, man, we need to get our local strippers to somehow get these NBA players and get a child from them. So these players will have a reason to stay in Phoenix.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Also was saying misogynistic things in the workplace, was even showing people within the office or the offices his wife in a bikini and talking about how good looking she is and all the things he would do to his wife.
See, that's where you went too far. Showing her in the bikini and saying how good she looks, you were good. And then you kept
hold on, man. Hold on. What?
And then you kept going.
I don't even think that's appropriate, but anyway.
I mean, hey, you know what I'm saying? I mean, here's my wife. Yeah, she's beautiful. Whatever.
Robert
saying?
Sarver pulled a Michael Scott.
He kept
Remember when
going.
Michael Scott was dating, was it Jan from
Jan?
Corporate?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
how
the
he-
Jamaica picture?
He did one of those. Put it on the holiday card and sent
My man sent it to everybody, bruh. He sent it to the whole shipping department.
That's what Robert Sarver did. So he
Yeah,
is
that's
being
what he did.
investigated by the NBA. Look, honestly, if these, we
Dog.
got to say allegedly, but if these things are true, that is enough for him to lose his team because we got a lot less from Donald Sterling. Donald Sterling said, "Don't associate with black people. Don't associate with Magic Johnson."
Right.
Robert Sarver is out here and calling black people N-words loosely and has no problem with it. You know, he sounds like Candy from Django. You know, Leonardo DiCaprio's character in Django. That's what he sounds like. So yeah, man, that he should lose his team. Another team being investigated is Neil O'Shea of the general manager of the Portland Trailblazers, who's being investigated for similar things, mostly sexual harassment.
Wasn't he investigated a couple years ago too?
His
Or he was they were supposed to, and it never happened.
Paul Allen's sister, the late Paul Allen's sister, was being investigated for sexual harassment. Also, we know the incident with Chauncey Billups ultimately being hired, and then all of a sudden you find out what happened 21 years ago, which I didn't even know about it, or 20. It was more than 21 years ago, but you had that incident. But now Neil O'Shea is being accused of having a toxic workplace environment. So that's happening right now in the NBA. You do have also in the NBA Ben Simmons and the saga with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Didn't they start finding him again?
They restarted finding Ben Simmons because Ben Simmons did not, according to sources within the 76ers organization. So take it with a grain of salt.
Right.
They, according to they stated that Ben Simmons is not being cooperative with the team's training staff about his mental health issues.
That's the first thing you got to do. Even if you're doing outside of stuff, you got to at least let them know what's going on health-wise, especially if you're telling them, hey, I have these issues. I need to stay away. Come on, Ben. Be smart.
Especially in the occupation that you're in, they do need to know a little more.
Yeah.
And at the least, they just need to know that you're being treated, because you
that
can
you're
easily say
be treated or being treated correctly.
Yeah, you can easily say, "Oh yeah, I'm seeing a therapist," and
you're on your couch.
Yeah, and that's the least. Hey, I'm going to send you my doctor. They're going to tell you at least, hey, Ben is meeting me. That is the least. That's all they have to say.
Right.
And the team has to respect that.
Yeah, and they're cool with you the whole time, bro. And then now you're like, I'm gonna be uncooperative. Come on, bro.
So they started finding him again. Now, it did get reported about an hour and a half ago that it seems like Ben is starting to cooperate with the team. And look,
that's because he's losing money again.
Look, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Rich Paul giving him bad advice, or if he's just like, F you, Rich Paul, I'm doing me.
Right.
Because he already lost $8 million.
Right.
He lost $8 million.
It back?
No, he lost $8 million and came back a few days later. He was playing chicken.
Would they put it in escrow? They gave him that money back.
Well, it don't look like he's going to get it back.
I mean, he ain't getting them game checks back. That's for sure.
So, he now missed a few game checks. Each game check worth, I think, $360,000. So, yeah. But he already lost one again. And now all of a sudden he is cooperating with the medical staff. And I'm just like, ooh, come on.
Dog, that's now like me going to work every day and getting $300,000. And then one day I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to cooperate with y'all. So I'm going to lose $300,000. Are you serious, bro? That's ridiculous, yo.
So, yeah, that is the situation. And then rumor came out today that The Boston Celtics are interested in Ben Simmons, and they're interested in giving up Jaylen Brown.
Oh, wow.
Being the
That's
main
not who
piece.
I thought. I thought they were talking about Marcus Smart.
Now, Thad,
yeah.
if the rumors are true and if they can get this done, do you think that's a good trade for both teams?
You got Jaylen Brown and Homeboy basically playing the same position.
Who? Maxey?
No, other dude.
Curry?
Their other star player.
Embiid? I'm being facetious.
No,
in
Boston. In Boston.
Hold on, Boston.
Yeah, Boston.
So you said if Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought you were talking about Philly if the trade happens.
No. I'm thinking Boston.
And I was being facetious because I thought you were saying Tobias Harris. So that was going to be because he ain't no star player in my opinion.
No. I meant Boston wise. I'm thinking with him coming in there because Jaylen Brown, him and Tatum basically play the same position. Even though they're not the same position, they basically play the same position.
And they gun a lot because Marcus Smart said that last week. Y'all two got to start passing the ball.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
And people have been saying, those two don't seem to fit.
Right.
Because they do exactly the same thing.
I mean, the thing, Ben would come in there and basically be that point guard guy. He's going to give up the ball. If he's not driving to the hole to score, he's giving up the ball to somebody. So I think that could be a good move, depending on where his actual mind is at. You know what I'm saying?
That backcourt would be phenomenal in defense. Marcus Smart and Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
And then you have Tatum to just be Tatum to gun.
Yeah.
You could eventually then possibly just get a mid-level exception piece. You still have all those other young guys like Robert Williams and Pritchard and I think Ojale is still there. Yeah, you can be a better team. I think that would be a good fit.
You know what? I actually think that's a better system for him too, because you don't have that center that needs to get the ball all the time. You don't have to go through the center. You just got Al Horford and Williams and whatnot just rebounding, and if they're open, they're scoring. But other than that, their job is to play defense and rebound.
Philly gets a score in Jaylen Brown because Tobias Harris is not that scorer.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
So yeah, man, that will be pretty good. Quickly, let's get to the Washington Wizards, our favorite team. They defeated the Bucks last night. Have a 7-3 record, I think.
7-3.
7-3 record right now. Bradley Beal had some great words for Wes Unseld Jr. and I actually have the quote here, so we can definitely take a listen to what he has to say about playing with or playing for Wes Unseld Jr.
Man, because Coach Wes he's very mellow. He's not too high, he's not too low. But you could tell he's engaged, he's excited, about their play, and he pushes me, and to see, I can hear him over there yelling, like, switch, get up, get into him, don't let him shoot. Like, that motivates me to, okay, let's get a stop, and then sure enough, shot clock violation. It's just energy, when your coach is like that behind your team and he's engaged and locked in and communicating and telling everybody what to do, like you love that, and granted, we have to do that more for ourselves on the floor and talking and communicating, not solely on him. But it's an amazing feeling to have, a coach who's that engaged and locked in, and who's excited for his team. A lot.
And when Bradley Beal was referencing the shot clock violation, he was talking about a specific play where Wes Unseld Jr. was coaching on defense. And after they got the shot clock violation, a crucial one, Bradley Beal dapped up Wes Unseld Jr., and they kind of had a little celebration there on the floor. And I retweeted. I said, look, man, all I wanted for the Wizards is to get a coach, a head coach in here that can actually coach. And so far, looks like we have one. And we have a defensive-minded one to go along with the offensive team that the Wizards are. Yes, the Wizards might be struggling in some aspects of cohesiveness, but they're going to get it, I believe. I believe they are going to get it. Rui Hachimura also should be returning to this team in the lineup in the next few weeks. So another weapon for this team. The Los Angeles Lakers, man, they're struggling. Struggling bad. LeBron James out for about a week or two. Anthony Davis had a stomach bug over the weekend. And Russell Westbrook just stinking it up. And look, I'm still going to go on my prediction. I do believe the Los Angeles Lakers are going to win the NBA Finals. However, things ain't looking too good right now for them. They are struggling. One thing I am noticing, obviously, Russell Westbrook, turnover prone, not efficient as a shooter, but also the defensive rotations or the rotations period are not good. And on defense, a team that was supposed to be known for their defense is one of the worst in the league. So they got a lot of things going wrong right now. The best hope for the Lakers and their fan base is this is the trying out period, the ironing out period.
It's got to be.
And we just got into November. So that's the best thing. Now, the only issue, another issue with the Lakers is LeBron already got injured 2 weeks into the season. That's not good. He is in year 19. Had some people tell me, oh, all of y'all that's been talking about Father Time, how it's going to catch up to LeBron is never going to catch up. And I had to tell them, like, y'all know LeBron is injured right now.
Right.
Like, you're saying this while he's injured. Like, it's going to happen. We're not saying that it's going to happen this year. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but it happens to everyone. Right. Like, everyone gets caught up by Father Time. You know, unless you just retire early, it's going to happen.
Right.
So, yeah, let's now get to our quick hitters. What happened to your Manchester United thing?
You disrespectful. We lost to Manchester City. Your favorite team. Don't know how.
It's an evil world we live in.
Still don't know how that became your favorite team, but
I already told y'all.
I'm just giving it to you.
I already told y'all that was my favorite team. Oh, man, I think it was 2-0.
Yeah, it was 2-0.
Both goals were scored in the first half. Other news, quick hitters. The Atlanta Braves did win the World Series in Game 6 in Houston. So the very next game after Sunday night's Game 5's debacle. Also, Michigan State fell in upset fashion, and Wake Forest in college football fell in upset fashion.
Who else?
Also, Alabama struggled. They struggled in that game against
LSU.
LSU. Yeah, they struggled in that game.
They couldn't run the ball worth nothing. They couldn't. Defense really did some work though. But
Yep. So, yeah, man, that's college football for you all. Let's now get into our champ and chump of the week. We celebrate those who do well.
Wow, winning.
And criticize those who don't.
Loser! You're a loser! Are you feeling sorry for yourself? Well, you should be, because you are dirt!
It's our champ.
Let's go, champ!
And chump.
Now this guy's a chump.
Of the week. It's our champ and chump of the week. Big Thad.
Yeah.
Who is your champ of the week?
Colt McCoy.
Baby, want a champ.
The journeyman. Former Washington football team. Texas. Yeah. Longhorn. Yeah. Definitely killed it. He had a very efficient game against the 49ers. 22 for 26 for 249 yards. Yeah. I didn't think Arizona was going to win that game once I heard that pretty much everybody was injured. And they pulled it out, man. They pulled it out. Can't lie.
My champ of the week goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey.
And I guess you could finally say Urban Meyer. It's been a few weeks.
Yeah.
They got a win over the Buffalo Bills 9-6. They held that offense to 6 points. Definitely made Josh Allen look very pedestrian. Josh Allen looked like the Josh Allen from his first 2 years in the league for sure. After that game, during that game. So yeah, man, shout out to Jacksonville Jaguars. Big Thad, who is your chump of the week?
The 2020 Oakland Raiders draft class.
Cause you're a chump.
Yeah, that's Henry Ruggs' class and Damon. What was the last name again?
Damon Arnett. But
Damon
here it is.
Yeah,
You want to hear it?
Class.
2020 draft class. In the first round, both Henry Ruggs and Damon Arnett have been released. Ruggs for his DUI.
Yep.
Arnett for his threats
Just acting a fool.
on social media.
Right.
So they're cut. The third round pick, Lynn Bowden. He was traded. He hadn't played a single snap for the Raiders. Brian Edwards, he is the starting wide receiver, but he's Brian Edwards. Another third round pick, Tanner Muse. He was cut. 0 snaps. Fourth round pick, John Simpson as a backup. And fourth round pick, Amick Robertson, benched.
The whole draft class.
Yeah, man.
Oakland, I mean, you got that one, Brian.
Funny
Edwards,
thing, Fat, I just realized I put Oakland Raiders. They're the Las Vegas Raiders. I just realized.
Did I say? I think I said Oakland Raiders.
I mean, we're so used to saying Oakland. Even I typed in Oakland
Yeah,
Raiders.
yeah,
Look,
yeah,
I didn't put
yeah.
Las Vegas, but
It's okay. Oakland, Las Vegas. Put Oakland, Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
my chump of the week has to go to the Dallas Cowboys.
Cause you're a chump.
Wow.
Dallas Cowboys were down 30-0 late into the fourth quarter before they were able to get 2 touchdowns in garbage time. I personally believe that Dak Prescott is dealing with his injury still, but I still blame the team for coming out flat because I honestly believe they thought after beating the Vikings with a backup quarterback that they were going to beat the Broncos at home with Dak Prescott. And then also Von Miller got traded.
Right,
So they're like, come on, there's no way you're going to lose to the Broncos. And it was early. They got up early and didn't let go. Dallas Cowboys, they are my chump of the week for this week.
Cause you're a chump.
Let's now get into our sports free zone. We didn't get to talk about it last week, so we'll talk about it again, or talk about it now. Alec Baldwin had a shooting accident.
Yeah.
Where he shot a producer on the set of his movie, shot and killed her. It was allegedly on accident because he let me drop that banner real quick. They were there on the set and for a movie, I think Rust. And there was a live ammunition in the gun that was supposed to be used as the prop gun.
Yeah, there was a live round in there.
Now, Hollywood experts then question what's going on, and a lot of stuntmen, a lot of actors and actresses who deal with firearms. One notably, Jeffrey Wright was at a film festival, and they asked him about it, and he said, "Well, look, when I've been on Westworld and Bond and other movies where I've had to deal with firearms, the armorer comes to you and literally opens the chambers, takes the bullet out, takes the magazine out, shows you that there is no live ammunition in here.
Right, that they're blanks and all that other stuff.
So, okay, this is it. This is what we have. He said, also, when I've been on the set, we've had markings on the gun to show that this is the basically the prop gun, the prop weapon. He said, I don't know what was going on at that production, but unfortunately things went awry for them. One thing that was noted, the production crew was very young. One of the woman who did die was literally her second movie she had ever done.
Yeah, there's I think it's like the assistant director, because there's a couple of them. There's been another film that assistant director has been on where they've had the same kind of issue that's happened before. So because not just the armor, one of those directors and everything is supposed to clear everything also. And supposedly that assistant director or whatever, producer or whatever, there's been an issue with him on another set before like this. So I don't know if the person was killed or anything like that, but there was another issue like that also. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So unfortunately, this young woman passed away. Alec Baldwin, the firearm discharged, bullet went through the young lady that died and went through her and hit another person who was injured. That person survived. So yeah, man, now Hollywood, and they're gonna really try and be more vigilant about this situation. Other unfortunate news over the weekend: Astroworld, Travis Scott's festival in Houston at the site of the former Astroworld amusement park, which was across the street from the Astrodome and now NRG Stadium. This is the, I think, second or third year they had it. In 2019, they did not have it. Did not have it last year due to COVID, so this was the first year back. Travis Scott and other acts were on stage, but Travis Scott, when he was doing his set, crowd became, there was a lot of people. I think they said it was 50,000 people in the crowd. There was the VIP was, according to reports, was what is the correct term for it? Was breached, and you had people who unfortunately got trampled, people who got squished, literally squeezed, and 8 people are deceased. Many people are injured. They canceled the rest of the fest. During Travis Scott's performance, there were people in the crowd that were asking for help. There was even an ambulance that was trying to make its way through the crowd. And you had fans getting on top of the ambulance, getting in front of it, stopping the progress of the EMTs. So, excuse me, there's a lot of blame right now going around. People are blaming Travis Scott. People are blaming the production company. People are blaming security. People are blaming law enforcement. Thad, when you heard about the situation, first of all, have you ever been to a festival like before? A music festival?
Yeah, I've been to a couple of them.
What was your experience at a music festival?
I mean, you know, you have the crowds and stuff like that. I've been to festivals where they've had full on mosh pits. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and literally right in front of the stage where somebody's performing is a big, huge circle of people, like, basically swinging and running into each other and whatnot. And there's that culture, but that culture also knows, like, if there's an issue, they stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, even some of those, like, they might say somebody accidentally got knocked out by running into somebody else in a mosh pit. Like, they'll stop, get security because security's right there. You know, they'll make sure that person's good before anything goes back up. Like, a lot of times the act will just stop also, especially if there's a certain issue or whatnot. So seeing this, one, there's no way you could tell me that Travis Scott didn't see what was going on, because where he was at, as high as he was, he could see what was going on. People that were around some of those individuals that were passed out, injured, whatever. You can see when there's a lot of people, when there's an incident going on, because you'll see that pocket open where usually you would just see people, like, you'll just see, well, it could be, even if it was dark, you'll just see like figures next to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there's no reason for him not to at least stop, just to make sure, you know, that person's okay. Or even with the ambulance coming and stuff like that, you're seeing this and people are like telling you whatever, and the production company not doing stuff. Because I've seen clips of where somebody like went up on climbed the ladder, cameraman. Yeah, with the cameraman, and even the cameraman
up in the air.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, even the cameraman, you have a microphone. Like, somebody is literally telling you, like, yo, there's people injured, we need help. He would have been the quickest person to say something to somebody on the other side, like, hey, we need to get, you know, people here now, or whatever. But I heard there was a thing about it being a live stream thing, and, you know, they didn't want to stop and whatnot. Everybody's at fault when it comes to stuff like that, especially with the whole stampede and everything. They should have stopped everything then when the breakthrough happened. To get everybody chilled, relaxed, back to where they need to be, or even if they still left them to go where they were at. Throughout all that security, there should have been more security staff there for that to help quell all that. You know what I'm saying?
So they had, and these are all allegedly, we have to say. Yeah, there are reports that, well, no, this isn't allegedly. They showed the video footage from early in the day when the festival opened and how people just
went through the gates.
Literally ran through the gates. And security, and honestly, I'm not even upset at security for not stopping. There's literally hundreds of people running at 3 or 4 people at this gate. Usually at sporting events, that's usually what happens. Yeah. But hold on, let me rephrase what I'm saying. At sporting events, there might be 4 or 5 people at a specific gate, right, as security, and everyone's coming single file, showing their tickets. There, the fans literally just ran in, stormed in. So you couldn't even tell who had VIP tickets, who had general admission tickets, who did not have tickets, right, and just stormed the place. So that was early in the day. So they already had issues. Then reportedly, someone from the police department, someone high up, approached Travis Scott in his trailer and said, hey, we're having an issue with crowd right now. We suggest that you don't, you try and control this or you don't go. I have a problem. If that's true, I have a problem with law enforcement, because at the end of the day, you are the one that says, nah, that's not going on, or it is going on. You and the fire marshal are supposed to be there. They're supposed to be controlling this. So you can't go to the act and say, hey, what do you think we should do? Because the act is going to say, yeah, we doing this.
Right.
Also, Travis Scott, the entity, is to blame, because it is his festival. It's part of his business, part of his brand, and also Live Nation. They put it on because from what people say that were there, how you got in and out was not very easy. And it seemed like it literally was like one way in, one way out.
Yeah, that's there. I would say that's not Live Nation per se. Mm-hmm. So like a lot of times you have like Live Nation, they're a big company, whatever, but they don't do the actual, setting up of the areas, mm-hmm. stuff like that. That's all. They literally go to a company and say, here, this is what we want. This is what Travis wants. Boom, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. You make it happen.
Exactly.
And here's the money involved, blah, 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 blah. You get security, you get staff, you get whatever. And this is y'all. And I'm sure whoever was involved in all of that have done these type of events before.
For sure.
So, you know what I'm saying? So somewhere along the line, somebody messed up big time, because especially if you know there's this amount of folks and you see them waiting to go in and stuff like that, that should have been the first alarm right there. Like, hold on. We need to do change some things real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Maybe have a couple more entrances, get a couple more staff, or grab some people off of the street. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things in place that were just messed up all about it.
Surprisingly for me, and something that I literally only saw 1 or 2 clips of it, but there were moments where Travis did stop and say, hey, we need medical attention, or we need stuff here. There was one point where he did say, hey, cut the music, just play it softly. I'm not going to sing, or I'm not going to perform.
Right.
And they waited a time and they restarted. I was in a room on Clubhouse, and someone who is a roadie was in the room, and I looked up her credentials, and she is very qualified. Because usually, you sometimes hear people talk in the room, and then you realize, man, you just talking. Right. Now, this woman was verified, was credentialed. And she said, look, I'm going to tell y'all something. She said, unfortunately, at festivals, these things do happen actually quite often.
Yeah, definitely does.
She said, the big thing, though, it's Travis Scott, the name. She said another big one was The Who back in the day.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Had a big one. And I believe it was Cincinnati, where there was a stampede. And she went on and on. She said, unfortunately, in a situation like that, Travis Scott actually continuing to perform might have been the only option they had. She said because of the rest of the crowd would have probably rioted.
Yeah.
And she said she's been in a situation where that happened, where the artist said, nah, we stopping. And then there was an actual riot. So people who were hurt ultimately were injured even more or even killed. She said the stage caught on fire where she was, and that which caused more deaths.
Yeah.
She said even some of her fellow employees were injured and killed in that accident, because the rest of the crowd did not approve of the show stopping.
Right. They mad as shit. They paid this money. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
And then also, we don't know, but she threw this out. She said the fire marshal and the law enforcement kind of could have been saying to Travis and his team, hey, you got to at least kind of continue so we can open things up so people can actually leave like efficiently.
Right.
Instead of, yo, it's over, everyone just run out right now.
Right.
So she threw that out. She didn't say that's what it was, but she threw that out as a possibility.
Oh yeah, definitely, of course.
Me personally, I feel like Travis Scott did enough, because at the end of the day, he is 20 feet up in the air, a good 100 feet, sometimes 200 feet away from the nearest fan. And it's just like, yeah, you could say, hey, watch out, or hey, we need help, but he personally,
right.
I don't know. Now, a lot of people did bring up how in his past he's mentioned how, and at his other concerts, how he actually encourages the mosh pit. He actually encourages people storming the gates. He actually encourages people defying what security is telling them to do. So that has happened. He's already been arrested for inciting a riot. I forgot which music festival before. So a lot of people are bringing that up. It's all the way. It's blame all the way around. But the one entity that I am going to blame also are the actual fans. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
I understand it's a music festival, but why? Like, I don't understand how you can see someone on the ground and just step on them.
Just step on them.
I don't understand how you could walk
Step-
on
Right.
on bodies.
Right.
I can understand you might not have known right away, but at some point, people have to tell the people in the
somebody
back.
on the ground.
You have to
Like,
tell people,
yeah.
look, stop. Stop pushing forward.
Right.
People were saying how in those situations they feel like their body's just being compressed because of all the people who
Oh,
are
for
just
sure.
pushing to get closer.
Oh, for sure, bro. For sure. I ain't gonna lie. You know, even the guy as big as me, like I felt that crowd pushing on me from behind. It ain't. I mean, you're holding on for dear life, man, sometimes.
And for me, I'm kind of like, that doesn't seem enjoyable.
Yeah.
For me, maybe because I'm older now. You know, most of these music fests tend to be people who are teenagers up to like mid-20s. I know EDM tends to have some people who are older because of the culture and stuff like that. That was another thing that was brought up, that this is relatively new in hip hop. So
Yeah,
like
this is
you got a lot of
that-
people.
This is that rock star rapper
Mm-hmm.
type thing. You know what I'm saying? Like Kid Cudi's another one
Yep.
that sees himself as a rock star more than the hip hop realm. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's in hip hop, but that's how he sees himself, as a rock star. Travis Scott's the same way. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and they grew up watching, like even Kid Cudi, he talked about you know, when he wore that dress on SNL.
Uh-huh.
And he basically was saying that he used to watch this rocker, and I can't remember who it was, but he was like, yo, if I ever get this big, this rock star lifestyle, you know, like I want to be like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's their mentality as being a rock star more so than a hip hop artist. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of them things, man. Yeah.
It's an unfortunate catastrophe. Rest in peace to those
no
who
doubt. No
passed
doubt.
away. Remember those who are dealing with this, struggling with this. There's going to be a lot of blame. There's going to be a lot of
Oh yeah, there's
litigation. There's going to be a lot of money changing hands. And hopefully culture could definitely learn a lesson from this. Two things real quick before we move on to the next segment. Kanye West was on the podcast Drink Champ. I had never heard about it until
Champ. It's
this weekend.
Noriega and DJ EFN. But yeah, Drink Champs has been around for a while now.
I'm gonna have to check it out. So GQ has the 5 wildest moments from Kanye West on it. Kanye West said he would do a versus with Drake and opened up about his relationship with Drake. So I would have to go. I would have to go back and look at that. He also said when he was asked about cancel culture, he reportedly said, quote, "I love it. I'm above it. And I've said this from the jump. Kanye is above it. Like he is
Kanye
definitely above it.
Kanye don't care, yo. He just don't care. He's him, and he knows what he wants to do, and he's gonna do it. He don't care about anybody else.
Yeah, he also said another quote. He said, "Just Blaze caught some of the harshest criticism of the night. Kanye's shot at the legendary producer might be the one that sent rap purists into a biggest frenzy. When asked during the podcast whether he thought Just Blaze or Swiss Beats was the better producer, his response was scathing. Quote, Swiss Beats, definitely. Because Just Blaze is a copycat. You know, he gets credit for the blueprint, and I did the first half of the blueprint. He just copied my half. I mean, look where I'm at today. Look where he's at today." Oh my. Yeah. Oh man. He also said that a former good music artist, Big Sean and John Legend, were on his shit list right now. He he said Big Sean was one of his worst mistakes in hip hop. I think he said how on his tombstone it'll say I hired or I signed Big Sean.
Jeez. Wow.
Oh my goodness! So yeah, Kanye news. One more thing before we get to the next segment. I did remember this. I guess there was some event in Hollywood, and did you see Jeff Bezos and his date? Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I sent you the thing.
You did? You sent it to me?
Yeah, I sent you the Twitter joint where it shows the video with Leo.
Now I need to find it. Just where
I sent it in the group joint.
Nah, I gotta.
You had to actually click it. You know what I'm saying? You had to actually click the link.
Is that the one that you said the thread was wild?
Yeah, the thread was wild because they were talking about Leo and how Leo don't. You know what I'm saying? They were like, "Yo, you the richest man on the planet, but your girl will probably still leave you." Stuff like that, right?
And that is
Leo,
exactly what happened.
Leo, you know what I'm saying? But then everybody's like, she ain't gonna last because Leo don't mess with nobody over the age of 25, which is true. So, and like in the thread, they literally show a graphic. They literally show a graphic of all of Leo's female partners. And it's like a graph of like how old they were and stuff like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
So they were at this event, and Leonardo DiCaprio he bumped into Jeff Bezos, and I'm gonna show it real quick for you all. He bumped into Jeff Bezos and his date. They meet, and actually, here I go. I have it right here. Let's just stop talking about it and let's just see it.
Well, you know the listeners ain't gonna be able to see it. So
I mean, no, I can play it. I can play it. Here we go. Boom. So here we go. We see here. See, she's so engaged, and takes her hand. And obviously the video ends. We don't know what really happened, but it looks like they step away from Jeff Bezos. Now, Jeff Bezos had an interesting tweet today where he was like, "Hey, Leo, you want to come?" I'm paraphrasing. He said, "You want to come hiking?" And he's at somewhere where it says warning, steep fall. So like basically he's trying to say like, yeah, I'm coming for you next.
Right. He said, yeah. He seen all that back and forth by folks and was like, yeah, I gotta say something to Leo real quick. Yeah. Ha.
Let's now get to our next segment. This has been in the making for a while. We are going to just talk to a good friend that I met on Clubhouse from Toronto, Canada. Also, she is Trinidadian and Nigerian. It's my girl, Janelle, from the Good Rickies podcast.
Up? Hi, guys.
What's going on?
How are you guys doing? How are y'all doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm well. Happy to be here. I'm a fan, so just great to kind of be on the show. You know, you guys are podcast veterans, so I'm just here. I'm honored to be on your podcast. That's it.
I want to thank you for the compliments. I also want to thank you for allowing me to be on your podcast, the Good Rookies podcast. And before we get into it, let everyone know how you started podcasting and how you came up with the name Good Rookies.
Great question. It's so funny. Fahim, my co-host, he always wanted to do podcasting. And I guess I met him at a call center. You know, we all had those jobs going through school, trying to pay the bills. So we were podcasting, talking about basketball and just random topics. Back then, I was a huge Chauncey Billups fan. Don't judge me. But I was. And so we'll talk about sports. And so fast forward, he had an idea with a friend to do a podcast. And they're like, you know what? We want to get a woman, a female voice on the podcast. And I was the first person that came to mind. Therefore, now I'm here. And this probably happened back in 2016, 17. You know, we had different shows that we did. But Good Rookies, that baby, we rebranded our previous name from Zoned In Podcast to Good Rookies over a year ago. And so Good Rookies, we were doing different names. We're like, okay, Good Rookies, because we had a name with Rookies prior, and we're like, what a simple name, Good Rookies. Like it just fits. So now we're here with Good Rookies.
Yep. What are some of the topics that you get into in that podcast?
Wow, we discuss everything. We talk about mostly culture and sports. We highlight individuals for the culture segment. So all of our guests get a segment to shine. We give them their flowers because I think a lot of Black creators and people doing things for the culture rarely get the shine. I mean, if you're not like a big celebrity, you don't really get that recognition. So we really want to really give those people like yourselves who are grinding and doing wonderful things in your community. Putting out content is not easy. So we like to highlight each person, give them their flowers, share what they're doing. Like last week we had an amazing group, HBCU Prep School, and they created the ABCs for HBCUs. And they wanted to just kind of provide children a book that they can learn about historically Black individuals that went to these schools and made it big. Because typically, like, you don't know about HBCUs until you're in high school. And not even then. So people like that who are just doing really amazing things, educating the youth, educating each other. And so that's one of our segments. We also cover hot topics. So Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, all the hottest topics. We talk about, the media, because, they be tripping sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We always have a segment called That's Absurd. That segment is funny. So we pick the most absurd topic of the week. For example, we had like LeVar Ball trying to sell $700 shoes with none of his kids endorsing it. Like stuff like that. Just absurd things that we see in the sports world and we call people out on it. So that's pretty much the show.
Now, Janelle, how did you get into sports? What made you interested in sports? Let's be honest. Most people who watch sports are men. So how did you get into sports?
Great question. So when you grow up with three brothers and you're in the middle, right? It's either sports or die. That was my household, right? And, when you have three brothers, like I would get toys. All of a sudden, they're now part of WWE. They're wrestling with these toys. They're doing all these things. I'm wrestling too. Like it was a part where I'm like, okay, I'm one of the guys. So growing up, I was a tomboy. And in my house, I used to watch, I used to play Mortal Kombat and play video games, Madden, play basketball on the court with my brothers. Could go to New York, my dad, and we'd be playing outside with all the boys. And I was the only girl playing basketball, but that's what I was used to anyway in my house. So I was a huge tomboy. But yeah, having three brothers, all my girls, when you have three brothers, y'all know how it is. It's a struggle. So either you just join them or don't, right? You have two options. So I joined them.
Okay.
Now, Janelle, you are in Canada, Toronto, Canada. But obviously, we have, the Toronto sports leagues and stuff like that. But the American leagues are obviously the more popular ones. How is it as a Canadian consumer watching, especially like the NFL on Sundays? How is that from your perspective? Because we know what it's like here in the U.S. We know the games are on Fox. We know the games are on CBS, NBC on Sunday night, Monday Night Football on ESPN, and Thursday night alternating between NFL Network and Fox. How is it for you in Canada watching these games?
It's the exact same. The only thing is that we're more on the Buffalo side because we are closer to Buffalo. So we get most Buffalo games. Most of the avid NFL fans in Canada, we have the red ticket, right? So we watch sorry, it's called the Red Zone, right?
Yeah.
So, but we have that channel. So essentially, I just watch the Red Zone every day, every Sunday. But we also have the NFL ticket, which is also a package you can buy on top of your cable package, where you can watch every NFL game. So between the Red Zone channel, NFL ticket, you can just watch all of football, and most NFL fans do that anyway. I remember I went to because I used to go to a lot of the Washington football games, team games in DC. So every year I would travel down with my brothers. We'll all go tailgate, watch the games. The funny thing is that on the flight with me were other NFL fans flying to the same game. So for the Dallas Cowboys, half the flight was Cowboy fans to go watch the Green Bay Packers. Half the flight was Packer fans. So we have a lot of avid NFL fans here who do travel to watch their teams play.
So are you saying that the Dallas Cowboys are America and Canada's team?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
Cool down, because my Broncos beat up your team already, eh? Cool down. What I'm saying is that I'll say Toronto's more of Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we're more Bills, but right after, there's lots of Dallas fans, lots of Packer fans. I'm a Bronco fan, so there's lots of fans. But I mean, we were trying to get the Buffalo team, but the ownership was not having it. Remember that?
I remember there'll be like 1 or 2 home games in Toronto. I remember that. Because you brought up my Cowboys, I do have to drop this sound effect.
They are the Dallas Cowboys.
Can't stand
I know we struggled, but hey, it is what it is.
And they lost.
I have a friend who's from Toronto. He now lives in Atlanta or Georgia. I don't know if it's Atlanta, but Georgia. I remember this was about 2017. I remember he said, when I was younger, we would be watching Raptors games, and if there was a hockey game, like a Maple Leaf or a Canucks game that was about to come on, they would just be like, yeah, we're about to switch to the hockey game. He said that was during the Vince Carter era. And now he was talking about how basketball became so popular in Canada. And that was 2017. That was before the NBA Finals championship in 2019 and how things are going on. And then also looking at all the players in the NBA that are Canadian now that are really good players. You have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you have RJ Barrett, Lou Dort, Jamal Murray, Kelly Olynyk. Those are just to name a few.
Yeah.
How is basketball? Is basketball now like, is it almost up there with hockey? Like, how is it?
So hockey will always be the number 1 sport in Canada. Hockey, curling. Yes, I said curling. Absolutely. Those are the games, right? But since we won the championship, and I say we as the Raptor fan, because I think we all won. I was playing that day. I was. When we won that chip, I would say Canada truly embraced the game of basketball. We had over, I don't know how much people were, I think 2 million people or something like that. The biggest championship parade ever was in Toronto that year. And I just think it's because of us winning, right? When you have a winning product, people buy. And I would say Masai helped us with that. Masai, when we were playing the Brooklyn Nets in the playoffs, and Masai said F Brooklyn, wow. That created a whole fandom with the whole, like he did that, mic drop. It was like a big thing. And even now people say F Brooklyn, it's like a saying. But he created a culture of pride and basketball. We had fans before Raptors, people were fans of other teams. When Raptors won, now they're all fans of the Raptors. And it just because that winning product helps you get more fans. And therefore now, even in Canada, we just signed, I think TSN signed a broadcasting deal with the WNBA. That would have never happened if it wasn't for the success of our Canadian athletes. Kia Nurse, who's also works for them, she this Sportsnet maybe, I don't know which one, but one of them signed with them. But she is a WNBA athlete and she does really well in the WNBA. So now, because of her success, they are now showing WNBA games in Canada. Before, I had to catch a game on streaming or on NBA TV. We never used to get games. So basketball is definitely growing here. And it's great to see. I would say there's more basketball gyms now. Before there was barely any. There's more basketball training, coaches, leagues. Like we have a huge pipeline of Canadian basketball athletes to the NBA. We have 17 today. I could see it go up to like 20 to 30 in the next 5 to 10 years. So it's just going to keep growing.
Yep. Let's get to some, current sports news. The WNBA. You and I, we're on Clubhouse a lot. We always hear about topics about the WNBA and what they need to do. But the problem is most of those topics are coming from men. So I'm going to ask you, as a woman who knows sports, what is the state of the WNBA to you? And then what are some ways that it can improve? I personally believe that it's in a good position for now, being in year 25, but they obviously can make improvements. But I want to hear from a woman's perspective.
No problem. The league's in good hands. Okay. The ratings have gone up 50% compared to the previous year. This is from 2020 season. So this year's season ratings have like not even, I think 64% during COVID. So there's a trajectory there. Sabrina Ionescu, her jersey sold out in less than an hour when she was drafted to New York Liberty, right? These are signs of a product that people want to invest in and buy, right? We're seeing more attendance, more audience. We're seeing more women because I think men watch our game, but we need more women to watch these games. And we're seeing more women watching these games. Even when it comes to the college, because NCAA Women's League as well, they said 8 out of 10 Elite Eight teams, the most popular followers who have followed on Twitter and IG, they're women. 8 out of 10 are women or women athletes. So it's coming along. I think people like to compare them to the NBA, which has been around since 1946. That doesn't make any sense. We need to understand that things take time and products and things are going to have to change to improve the product, right? I know they got money for marketing this year. I know Canada is now invested in them as well. That is going to help them get more reach and, of course, get more advertising dollars, right? They're on the up and up. So I'm actually, as a woman and a fan of basketball, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing. And I just think that, if you can invest in women's sports, do it now, because when it busts open, you want to be on the right side. That's all I gotta say. I'll think one thing for me, just for them, more social media, really have the right brands attached to the leagues is important, right? Really have the right spokesmen, people who aren't athletes also be part of the league as well. The NBA had like hip hop artists rap about them. They had, like the culture was a part of the NBA, which made it even explode. So really having the culture surround them. And we're seeing that happening more and more all the time. So I'm happy with where we're at. I think even the women's salary is doubled, or it's growing. So I think people need to take a step back, appreciate where they are today. And of course, we're going to see them grow. And shout out to Candace Parker. You know what I'm saying? My girl won in her home state, her hometown, Chicago. She won them a ring. That's a beautiful story. So yeah, it's in a good place, man. It's a good place.
What do you have to say? And we have a comment from Taisha G. I agree the WNBA is on the up and up. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to the podcast. Oh, that's a fan of yours. Is that correct, Janelle?
Yes. Hey, that's the bestie. See my bestie? What's up. My bestie better than your bestie. You know what I'm saying? That's all I gotta say.
Yes, they are in the up and up. Actually, I'll ask the question. What do you have to say to the men who say stuff like what Shaq said? Lower the rims, move in the 3-point line. What do you have to say to those men?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I was told if I'm not going to be nice to somebody, I shouldn't say it. But what I'll say is this, right? These women are athletes. And they work hard like everyone else. They wake up, they train, they eat certain things. They can't do certain things. Like they sacrifice their life to the game of basketball. So if you're a basketball athlete, a star, a Hall of Famer, they deserve the same respect, right? You saying to lower the rim, that's your opinion. That's cool. But what will that do, right? Just because you want to see these women play like men. That's the problem. They're playing like themselves. And I think we have to accept and appreciate the art of basketball and the different sides of basketball, not the one that only you want to subscribe to.
Right.
That's all I'll say.
Other news in sports, Aaron Rodgers. We spoke about how we felt about Aaron Rodgers. When you heard what happened, what was your opinion about the situation?
Privilege. Absolute privilege. Privilege. And he has the audacity. What he did is very dangerous. COVID is real. It's a serious thing. People are dying. I know I have friends and family. I know people in my church who have passed away, people who are hospitalized for it. It is a serious matter. So when someone in the public eye isn't taking it as seriously, I heard he wrote some 4-page letter to the NFL. Like he's doing too much for me, and it's not okay. And I really hope that they use him as an example of what not to do, because Aaron is he's a quarterback. People call he's a quarterback. He's on a great team. Let's see what they do with the NFL do. Let's see if they actually make him either be fined, suspended, something. I don't know, but you're not wearing a mask. You're not wearing a mask, not following protocol, and you're not vaccinated. That's not okay with me. You know what I'm saying? So he's an idiot. Sorry, Aaron, but you're an idiot. Absolute clout. Absolute clout.
Going to the NBA. What do you think's happening? What's happening with the Lakers? We are constantly in rooms like Clubhouse about the Lakers. Lakers every day. What's going on with the Lakers?
Yo, I'm Lakered out, but I'll talk about it for you. Okay, so when it comes to the Lakers, I just think that, you know, I don't feel bad for the Laker fans because they put it on themselves. They had a lot, like they were talking a lot, August, a lot. But it is early, right? We're only 10 games in. Right. And if you are a casual NBA fan, I can see why you find this, entertaining because you don't watch basketball. But if you've been watching the NBA for the past 10 plus years, you've seen teams have great starts and fun with the bag, or teams with bad starts come up and make it to the playoffs. The Lakers don't care to be the first seed, right? People think that. All they care is to make it 1-8. That's all they care about. Yeah. However, if I'm the Lakers, I want to be 6 or higher because I got some old men on my team, and that play-in tournament thing is stress. You saw what happened? That's a stress thing, right? And think about it. Imagine the Lakers weren't in the play-in tournament. They would have had more time to rest. And would LeBron have been injured with 8? Like, we don't know, right? The play-in tournament is just very stressful moment, and you have to play your best and your highest peak because only one game. You have one game to make it. That's why if I'm the Lakers, I want to be 1-6. Just get in there, getting comfortable, no play-in tournament, and play. There's a lot of time. However, I just don't know if they have enough time to make it to that point. I don't know. I like LeBron, but LeBron is not a magician. He can't make Westbrook change how he plays overnight. It's going to take some time because Westbrook has been a ball dominant leader of his teams for the past decade or so. Right. So for him to now adjust himself, we saw how Carmelo had a hard time adjusting from like starter to bench player. It's a hard thing to do. So can Westbrook adjust? Can he adapt? Will the Lakers play better defense? Can Frank Vogel have better lineups for his team? These are all questions, and only time can solve it. So my thing is that I still have them as championship contenders because they do have Hall of Famers on their team. The question is, can they make it or make the adjustments to be a contender? Because for me, for Laker fans, I'm sorry, y'all. For y'all, it's making the finals or you're a bust. That's all for me. There can't be no in-between thing. Y'all better make it to the finals or it's a bust year. It's a bust. Because you go with all your talent for Westbrook.
And we as Wizards fans are actually enjoying that trade right now.
Of course you are. You're looking nice, man. Looking nice.
Before we let you go, Janelle, I want to say thank you for coming on to the podcast. Let everyone know where they can reach you and where they can reach your podcast.
Absolutely. So y'all on, Instagram, I am at Nelly_Licious. Okay. Twitter, Nelly_J. Podcast is at Good Rookies with the S, and that's on all social media platform. Also Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, YouTube, Good Rookies Podcast. That's the name. So message, check us out. If you want to be a guest, hopefully I can get you on the show as well, my dear. I already got Jeremy, so get you on the show. But yeah, we love working with Black creators like yourself. And I want to congrats y'all, Sports Reality.
Thank you.
You guys are doing an amazing job. Keep going. No problem.
Thank you so much. Janelle, thank you for being on this week's episode. I'll talk to you later. On Clubhouse. Take it easy.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Yeah. That is Janelle from the Good Rookies podcast. I don't know if you heard when I said it. She's Trini, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, got the Caribbean ties there. Got the Caribbean
of course.
ties.
She might be family of ours. Who knows?
Big Thad.
You know how our family is, man.
Yeah. You know how the Grenada and Trinidad got those ties.
Right. And then with our grandfathers. So, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But we love y'all.
Big Thad.
Yo.
Before we go, any last words, man?
Nah, shout out to Cousin Frankie, man. Cousin Frankie moving from the DMV to Houston. Sorry couldn't make it to your send off. But we'll link up. We'll link up, cuz be safe, man. And to our fans, tell your friends. Let's have some fun. Tisha, thank you for listening. Definitely.
Thank you. Love the support. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to Janelle and the Good Rookies podcast with Janelle and Fahim. Shout out to OSS 980 with Harold, D, and Aaron. Shut Your Face, Soggy Nachos. Shout out to Curls and Sports, Karita Parks. The Triple Dub podcast came back with the beginning of the Washington Wizards season, so check them out. I think the next person I need to get is I'm gonna try and get Craig Laughlin on here. That's my guy from the Capitals. We got to talk about.
Real?
We got to talk about.
We rolling like that? We rolling like that, son?
Yeah. We know each other.
Craig Laughlin, it'll be game over, bro.
We have each other's phone numbers and emails. That's how we are.
Oh no! Don't let me put that on social media. Craig Laughlin will be on the podcast. Everybody will be there. Everybody.
So yeah, we gotta schedule that.
That's dope.
With the live stream. Big Thad, I want to thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you, Cuzzo.
Before we go, just want to remind you all once again to subscribe to the podcast where podcasts are available, and that includes Anchor, Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, also on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. All right, Big Thad.
Yes, sir.
Once again, thank you for everything. Until next time, everyone. Sports Reality. Peace.